Good morning, good people. Welcome back to the channel. It is Clint Sharp. It's Sharp Solutions, carpet and upholstery cleaning, supply, install, and repair. Right then, guys. So, this is the first job, or should I say, the only job of today. I've got a quote later on, but apart from the actual labour working time, this is it. So these carpets, they're around 6 months old, and we're in today cleaning these carpets for a couple of reasons. So, on first inspection, the actual fibre content and type is polypropylene. Now, I'm trying to help people out there, especially any American viewers that watch the channel, because here in the UK, we do source most of our synthetic carpets from Belgium. And there's a couple of large manufacturers that most of them come from, one being Associated Weavers, and they've basically softened what's called the olefin polypropylene to us here in the UK yarn over, let's say, the last 10 years heavily. They've softened it and treated it to look like nylon, but under a test, you will see that it actually is polypropylene. Now, they give off many of the same characteristics, so they've heavily advanced the yarn to be like nylon, super soft, okay? It doesn't wear like traditional nylon though. Now this, it is quite a tight piled polypropylene. If I get right down to it, those that know will know that this is a polypropylene carpet, but it can be easily confused with nylon from the look of it. It's just how they're going, the manufacturers, and how they're producing it. Customers want softer carpets, more luxurious feeling carpets, and so forth. Now, that isn't always a good way to go, but that's for a different video. Wearability on carpets, it always comes down to the tightness of the pile per square inch and the yarn that it's actually made out of. So here in the UK, nylon being most of the stuff that's coming out, polyamide, it is nylon, but it's not produced in the same way as it's produced in the United States. It's produced differently. So it isn't as hard wearing, in my professional opinion, because I've come across nylon carpets of a twist pile construction that are very hard wearing and look very similar years and years down the line and clean up beautifully. Then you've got this kind of new polyamide / polypropylene that we've got here in the UK and across Europe that doesn't wear well at all. Now, that's not this today. This does wear okay. You do get the standard crushing effect that polypropylene gives you, so even after a few short months, you will start to see footfall in wear areas where you walk through and things. Now, I'm just going to take you around the property and show you why I'm here today cleaning. So, under the natural light coming in through this window, you should just be able to see on the camera that we've got some brown areas here, and that's in a few of the carpets. So we've got it down here as well, which is odd. Basically could be for a number of reasons. Now, this is solution dyed carpeting, so it would need to be really neat bleach left in to discolour these carpets or give them a tinge of yellow, orange, that kind of thing. Because solution dyed carpets, how it's made is the actual colour of the carpet is the carpet. So it's almost impossible to strip that colour, unlike a wool carpet or a nylon carpet that are sometimes with nylon can even be printed. but 9 times out of 10, it's died afterwards. This is a different story altogether. So it's a mystery. It's a mystery. But the actual feeling of the carpet without pulling it back, it's giving me signs that water, we may have had a leak of some sort here. Without pulling it back, it's hard to tell. I would have to literally pull it back, but it is quite strange. And then again, it could be animal transfer from the coats, like a dog's coat. Goes out, gets greasy, comes back, lies down, and it gets a transfer to the carpet, and then that greasy residue then collects soil in. Okay, so it could be that. I've explained to the property management company that we can't guarantee anything, but I'd be treating it for that. So we've got a blue stain down here. Now, again, depending on if anyone has had a go with off-the-shelf cleaning solutions, or even, let's just say, professionals can sometimes use wrong solutions, and they can actually set a stain and lock it in. So knowing what you're doing all comes down to taking courses, time spent, research, your own development basically. So getting sampling, creating stains, and trying to take stains out with different professional solutions until you hit the nail on the head and get the right solution for that particular spot that's now a stain. So I try and help you guys out as much as possible on this YouTube channel. And I just want to take a quick minute to remind you guys that, you know, at the moment, this channel, it ain't monetized. I don't earn from this. In the long run, yes, I would love to obviously earn something from it to keep the content coming, because at the moment I'm trying to build this channel with this content so it helps you guys and eventually it will help myself. But someone has mentioned in another video that I've recently done that maybe a little bit of support wouldn't go amiss. Now, I've got to agree, guys. You know, if you do like the videos and you get something from it and you're learning from it, or you just enjoy watching the videos, please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, you know, and subscribe. Because without those things, the channel can't grow. It can't grow on views alone. It needs subscription, it needs likes, and it needs comments. And there'll be no one blown down in the comments, because I'm quick to delete anything like that. I'm not about negativity on this channel. It's about positivity. But at the same time, you know, if it's something that's valid, I will leave it. But if it's something that's not and you're just hitting out to hurt someone, then it will be removed regardless of our YouTube viewer, because comments alone can grow a channel, because the analytics and everything else that's behind it. But I'm going to keep it 100% real. I don't want any of our subscribers literally getting a hard time from other people because it's something that they don't believe in. So keep it nice, guys. Costs nothing to be kind. Anyway, same thing in this room. You can see just here. Now, the old saying goes, don't leave money on the table if you've got the skills to do something else while in the home. Whether that be re-dyeing carpets, re-stretching carpets, re-tufting carpets, or graft replacements. It's all there to offer to your customers if you have the skill set. If you don't yet have the skill set, maybe that's something that you can introduce to your business down the line. We do carpet repair courses up and down the country, and at times we've even travelled throughout Europe. So soon as I got in, I realised that down here near the radiator pipe, the carpet, whether it be frayed from an animal scratching at it or just literally vacuuming it, it's missing carpet. There's nothing we can do with this area to make that look better apart from putting a piece in. Now, This carpet, I've just realised, has got no gripper rods around the edges. So I've already gone round this house and tucked in the sides, because these carpets, I now know, have been fitted without gripper rods, which is a no-no. Any professional in the trade to cut corners and get out and earn a quick buck by missing off gripper rods is a cowboy, you know? And I'm open about that. Get back on your horse and do one, because people pay the same money for installations to be 100%. Meaning, here in the UK, the carpets need to be stretched to a tautness that holds a carpet almost like a drum skin. So there's no rippling, bubbling or anything else. All of the routes of installation need to be done by code, meaning British standards here are all met. It's not been met here, and that's why we've got problems. That's why it's rocking up down here. So this bump here, it's not because it needs re-stretching, it's because there's no gripper rods around the edges to hold the stretch. They've stuck it. They've stuck the carpet, because this is what you call the modern kind of action back, with a layer of felt over the top. So it's got three backing types. You've got your primary, which your tufting goes through. Then you've got your latex. Then you've got your secondary back. Now that's what a lot of carpet cleaners, carpet fitters are used to. Over the last 10 to 15 years, it's what's called the fusion back, where they now put like a layer of felt on the backing. Now, if the installer here thought this carpet is like a felt back carpet, we would get away with putting it on underlay and using some spray adhesive to attach it, take our money, get out. It's going to be a problem down the line. That's the problem that we've got. If any installers are watching, it's no good cutting corners. You know, guys, you know, anyone that's a professional installer knows that that is just down the line going to give you and your business a bad name. And if you're a contractor, it will get back to that contractor. That contractor will find out that that particular person, customer, used your services and the fitting wasn't to code and it wasn't to standard. It needs to stop, you know. We need to stop cutting corners and do our jobs correctly. Whatever it is we do, we get satisfaction from doing a great job. So now, that would be the reason that this carpet has come loose through literally vacuuming, I would say. It's come loose because the adhesive has come off. So I've now got to put some sort of heat tape around that and heat seam it so that it holds both sides and doesn't come back out in the future. Although this property is up for sale, it still needs to be done correctly, you know, so that it doesn't come back up. So using all the right tapes and adhesives is crucial. We've got a spare piece of carpet that we've been told to use, which is just there. So the first thing I'll be doing is making that repair. Once I've made that repair, I'll then be treating the carpets with the correct solution and also using a CRB on every single area. On the stairs, we'll be using a drill brush so that dog fur that is lodged deep within the pile that you can't really see by the naked eye. Trust me, guys, it's there. We'll get that out with a drill brush. Not so heavy where it's going to distort the pile, so a nice soft white brush. You can get different densities as such, different harshnesses of brushes that can be the same colour, because I've seen online before some people recommend certain brushes that are harder than others. So it is all about knowing, you know, the aggressiveness, let's say, of that brush, how hard the bristles are or how soft they are. There's an odour in this house, so I've explained to the customer that I will use a rinse extraction method here with an antibacterial and a deodorizer, okay, built in. The thing is, it may not get rid of the odour, but then again, it might. Now, if it doesn't get rid of the odour, it will need an after treatment where we would come back, lay down a topical treatment to kill any bacteria that is causing the smell, because it smells almost like weed, cannabis, bad bodily odours. But sometimes if you've had a flood, bacteria can off gas like that, and it can start to smell funky like that. That is the only way to explain it. Now, the smell, it isn't upstairs, which would make sense that maybe it's been flooded. I don't know. You know, it's hard to say without, like I say, pulling back the carpets. And if I pull back these carpets downstairs, up here, where they've got no gripper rods, I think they have got gripper rods upstairs, I could just tell. Yeah, so there's gripper rods here. 9 times out of 10, they was already here. So that's why they left them down. It looks more fitted, more flat to the edges, where downstairs looks almost loose and bubbled around the edges. So yeah, these are trade secrets, not secrets as such, but knowledge that has cost people in the pocket, and it's also cost people on courses and time spent. So there's many people that watch these kind of channels and they don't like it because they think we're giving away secrets. And anyone who kind of searches for carpet cleaning or carpet fitting or whatever it is that you're interested in learning, it's because you're interested in learning it. Now, as always, guys, you are not going to get a free class on my channel. But along the way, I do explain certain things so that people can get an understanding of what they need to do, where they need to go, and the moves that they need to make in their business to get to this level, to offer it to their customers. Because there is literal companies and people out there that are making paths and ways to do this. So this sort of content, it really does help those people who are interested in learning this kind of thing and actually are planning on going on courses or working alongside a professional to learn it. That's the best way in my book, the old-fashioned way, time spent. A lot of people have messaged me over the years on how to learn to re-stretch and how to learn to make carpet repairs and so forth and so forth. And although I do professional classes, like I say, up and down the country, those 1 or 2 day classes, you know, are going to give you the basic fundamentals. They're going to give you everything you need to know, along with a manual to look back on and things, so that you can put your newfound skill into practice and do your own research. And if you can do, try and get in with a fitter in your area, labour for free on maybe one of your days. You know, go out on one of your days, dedicate a day to try and go out with a fitting team so that you can learn standard things and advanced things that you're going to need for your business to put in place. Now, this might take you as little as 6 months and it might take you as long as 6 years. Who knows? It all depends on your personal learning type. You know, some people learn fast and others take more time, but eventually we all get there. But inevitably, you are going to need to put the time in if you want to be able to offer a professional service at the correct professional prices. So guys, without further ado, let's get this repair done. Right guys, so this is the piece, the spare piece from under that cupboard, and you can see that it's actually got some soil in here. So this has been used for maybe a doormat at some point, okay? Just check the power direction of the carpet and of this piece, and we're going to be taking it from this corner here to obviously go in here, so best form used. Right guys, I hope you like that repair. Vacuum time. Now then, you should always use a commercial rated vacuum, and my preferred method of choice would be the Kirby or a Sebo. There's a lot out there on the market that do absolutely fantastic jobs, but the customer sometimes wants to see what comes out of the carpets, and it's great for me and this channel and anything I do when it comes to advertising to show the general public, the customers, exactly what comes out your carpets. Now obviously there's no visible debris in any of these rooms, so we've got an empty canister. We're going to go through and we're going to see what we get out of these carpets, doing it north, south, east and west. No matter what you hear on the grapevine, guys, there is a lot of companies and so-called training facilities out there that have said that when you jump to a truck mount, you don't need to go into any customers' homes and really use a vacuum, because a pre-spray and an extraction will do the job. I've never heard such nonsense in all my life, and any training facility that says that to their trainees, when you jump up to a truck mount like it's the bee's knees, the end all, you don't need to vacuum, seriously needs to go on training courses themselves and find out what dry soil particulate means, and what we get out of carpets by literally lifting the soil in when it's dry before turning it into mud. It's laughable. Guys, it's laughable. You know, these are meant to be professional people teaching people that need to learn that if you get to a truck mount level, you can go in there without a vacuum. You can get away without a vacuum. Now, visibly, by the eye, it would probably do a fantastic job. But underneath a microscope, or for peace of mind for any allergy sufferers or anything like that in that home, you have always got to go in with a dry vacuum in first. North, south, east and west. Build it into your quote, let your customers know your steps and what you do differently to any other company, or most of these companies, let's say, that take that mentality on board, that when you get a truck mount, you've reached that pinnacle and that will do the job, because it doesn't. A truck mount is no better than doing a great job than a portable. It's the technician that does the work. It's the technician that goes through the steps. A truck mount will help you with speed. It will help you have consistent heat, let's say, a great vacuum capacity, recovery rate, and you will get through more jobs faster. But it definitely doesn't make you a better cleaner. And I love truck mounts, and I've got a truck mount. Right then, so That's the lounge done, guys. That is the lounge vacuumed professionally with a shop brought vac. Okay, let's continue. So I've already been over this hallway one way and now I'm going the other. The dining room and the downstairs study are also completed. So that's the downstairs completed. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so it's not compressed. It looks like it's half full, but I wouldn't say that's compressed. But nevertheless, that's a lot of dry particulate from the lounge, dining room, study and hall. Now we've got the stairs and the 3 bedrooms to do. Right, that is it, guys. I've been all over these bedrooms, an awful lot of debris, you know, hair, fur, dust, everything that comes in from outside, you know, when the windows are open. It's incredible what I have just pulled out of this 3-bedroom house. Everywhere has been vacuumed. Now, I don't think it's up for debate. I think it's clear that if you go in when there's dry particulate in carpets and you think by wetting them with a rinse extraction method, or even, you know, God forbid it, there's low moisture guys out there that don't vac and then they use, you know, low moisture methods. You know, one of the most important steps to carpet cleaning is the dry vacuuming stage. I'm not going to keep banging on about it, but it's so important, guys. I mean, have I ever done that? Of course I have. Of course I've been into customers' homes, split tested to see what works, see what doesn't work, see what it's all about, you know. But number one is in your first stages of training, your trainer, you know, will tell you the importance of vacuuming and vacuum types, commercial v your normal shop brought vacuum system, and the differences. Although there's vacuums on the market today, readily accessible to the normal market that are great. They've got great vacuum suction. And a lot of us do use them because customers like to see what comes out of the carpets, and there's no better way than to show them just by a dry vacuum after they've vacuumed what you've got out by professionally vacuuming north, south, east and west in a manner that is slower than probably the average customer would do. So we're splitting the fibres and we're having that soiling lift. Okay, now synthetics and wools. Okay, best and better. I mean, wool is generally harder wearing. It's a natural fibre. It's more of a natural insulation for the home as well. It can have its downsides. You will always get more dry particulate out of a wool carpet than you will a synthetic, because a synthetic carpet is normally these days solution dyed. That basically means the carpets, as we know, are made out of oil. And I'm not going to go too far into solution dye process, but the fibre, when it's new or in good condition, is slippery. Anything's going to slide down that pile, whether it be dust from the windows being open, blowing in, to debris that we're creating in the home. It's going to be easier to remove that from a synthetic carpet than it is a wool carpet. And the reason for that is a wool carpet is almost porous. So all of that debris, that dry dust particulate, is getting pushed into the fibre, which makes it more difficult to release. So definitely, you know, more harsher vacuuming is needed, slower, you know, more professional vacuuming on wool carpets is needed. You will always pull out more on a wool carpet, but let's show you the canister. So before, when I'd only done downstairs, obviously nothing was compressed or anything. Now we're looking at a full canister. That's a suction there, so that's obviously, that area is free. But if you can see, it's condensing down. There's everything in there, guys. If I get up close, you can see hairs, everything. This is before any treatment, any spotters, any moisture has hit the carpet. This is just the dry vacuuming alone. We've got a full canister. Could I have got more out with a Kirby? Yes, I believe I could have. Is there other vacuums on the market, commercial wise, professional wise, that could have got a deeper vacuum? Yes, there is. Is this acceptable? I would say so. You know, we've gone through the process. We've gone through the process. Right. Let's get it pre-sprayed and let's get it done. Right then, guys, the sun is shining. What a beautiful day. Well, I've debated this, and I only used the truck mount yesterday, running like a jam. But I think I'm going to go in with the old Truss Dye. Low moisture today. That's what we're going to do, guys. That is what we're doing. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm alone today, so like I say, the only job I've got on today is this one, and afterwards I've got a quotation for some carpets in a 3-bedroom home. That'll take me half an hour, and that's it. So it will be a decent finish. Right then, so let's talk through it, because obviously if we're going to be using low moisture, we need to be using something that is non-surfactant, not going to cause rapid resoiling, residue stuck to the fibres and all that kind of soapy malarkey. We need to use something that obviously encapsulates the soil, either a bonnet style mopping solution or an encapsulation solution, like a micro splitter or an encapsulation solution. So today I'm going to be using, on this particular carpet, Restore It Ocean Fresh Scented Micro Splitter. So it's obviously a less amount to the dilution rates. So I've done it hundreds of times. It says on the product for bonnet mopping. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to get these carpets looking fantastic, going through all the stages. Right, let's get it pre-sprayed. I haven't primed, obviously, the work sprayer yet, so that'll be priming now. Here we go. Oh, bless you. This will need treating down here. Now, I do think it might even come out underneath the pre-spray, because I have added a little bit of extra 20 volt hydrogen peroxide. So we might have good success with that. It might just take that colouring out. I am going to do it here. It's going to be CRB, guys. We're going to use a rotating counter brush, or should I say counter rotating brush. I won't pre-spray upstairs yet though, because we don't want it to dry. We're not laying down a lot, remember, so we need to make sure that it stays moist enough to the carpet. I like to give a spray all the way around the edges, because dust collects in, even though I've gave it a very good vacuum in. That's where we get our filtration mark from and things like that, where it backs into the little nooks and crannies. Okay. The soiling, if that's what it is, if it is soiling, the browning on the carpet will start to disappear just from the pre-spray touching the carpet, because the antibacterials will be at work straight away. So that will start working immediately. I did say that the carpets downstairs had a bit of an odour. That's another reason that I want to use the low moisture method, because I'd like the antibacterial, the hydrogen peroxide, to continue working when I've cleaned, just in case of that odour. Because you've got to remember, when we're flushing, even under higher heats, you're flushing with either an acidic rinse or water, depending on what pH level you're using. And you're basically rinsing everything out, all of your product and everything. Now, if you've got no surfactants and no soaps in your product, then leaving that to continually work is only going to do you favours when it comes to removing odours. Because as I've said before, if we was going to use, let's say, an antimicrobial for any kind of pathogens and mold spores or anything else that might have been lurking underneath the carpet if they had have had a flood, you know, they're going to continue to basically work. You wouldn't flush that out. You would spray the carpet with that antimicrobial and brush it in lightly and let that do its job. That's what would happen. So basically, that's what we're doing today here. You know, it's got the cleaning power and the antibacterial properties in this pre-spray that I'm using to combat that. If that doesn't come out that I've just sprayed down there with this pre-spray, then obviously I will spot it with a spotter that I can walk away with, a safe spotter. Keeping it live on this bit, guys, it's going to be a more longer video than I'd normally chop up and edit. I just wanted to use this video to talk a bit more. Do get a lot of people asking for advice, and I do like to stress that we're not a tutorial channel. Please don't think that I'm giving all the secrets away, because I'm not. Because we can all watch something, but to practice it ourselves, like I say, takes that time, guys. Takes that time. Okay, let's get the machine in. Let's get this downstairs bit, including the hall actually. I'll pre-spray that. We'll get it CRB'd, and then we'll get it dried and bonnet mopped off. Straight into the first room that I pre-sprayed. Now remember that we've obviously gave an extensive dry vacuuming. The reason I'm using the CRB is because I was working on vacuum power alone. Wow, we had the brush, but the CRB, it's digging deeper. This is getting to the backing of the carpet to take out any entanglement, fibres for that kind of stuff. I'm also going to pay a little bit of attention to this spotted area where we had the blue colouring of some sort. Can't really tell you what it was. Could have been artificial colourings or something like that, I would imagine. Definitely was not ink. Give a little bit of the frontward shuffle. Can be famous for that at times. A little bit of more pressure on that front roller just to dig it deep, let's say. And then I think I'll just do the Sharpie shuffle. North, south, east and west. Best results is what we're looking for. So this room, then the dining room, then the lounge, and then we're going to extract. And then we'll go upstairs and we'll do the stairs and we'll work our way out down the stairs. I am going to do the hallway before. So I won't be walking outside and back in. I have had people say I need booties on. You might see some videos where I've not got shoe covers and things like that. And sometimes, guys, it's the way you work, you know? You work your way out of rooms. So whether it's hot water extraction or low moisture cleaning, you are literally working your way out. So that entire room is going to be cleaned and then not trodden on again. So if you do see me in videos where I've got no shoe covers on, it's for that reason. I don't wear shoe covers anyway, but I do carry them for the customers just in case they want some. I always offer how many are in the home, and I can leave them with shoe covers, but I've said it before in many videos, I find them death traps. They're so dangerous. If you've got a slightly damp carpet and a very slippy plastic under your foot, you're almost asking for trouble. They're outdated. I would normally say to my customers, kind of use indoor shoes really that don't go outside, or if you're not comfortable with that, you know, use some socks. The solutions that we use are designed not to be irritable to the skin, although you can never kind of outdo that because some people can have very sensitive skin, and even after the deepest form of just water extraction, you know, the pollens and everything else that might be lurking still can cause, because you've lifted them to the top of the pile, can cause people with sensitive skin issues to have problems. You know, I have cleaned literally before with water. I had a customer about 7-8 years ago request that we didn't use any solutions at all, just water. So that's what we did, because they had very high allergic reactions to solutions and so forth. So even the most greenest solutions can still sometimes be of an irritant to people. I guess what we try and do, or what we should try and do, is look after our own health when it comes to solutions. Because when you first get in the market, let's say, you really are kind of looking for the best solutions, and you're not bothered what they're made out of, as long as they do the job, you know, especially when you're young. But as you get older and you've been around a lot of the solutions that are on the market still heavily, when you get older and you think, you know, I've been breathing that in for years, you know, it can make you think. I'm not trying to demonize any solutions here, but I am saying, you know, there's certain properties that can come in solutions and they can be carcinogenic, and you do need to look after your health. That's most important, because we want to do a great job and we want to be here living to tell the tale of that great job. I swapped to micro splitting agents many years ago, and also sometimes the way we use our applicators, you know, like the work sprayer, that can really vape off. So when you're spraying it, you've got active airborne kind of particles of that pre-spray in the air, and you're breathing it in, you and the customers and the pets, everyone in the home. So obviously using, let's say, the safest form of solution can be beneficial to us all, because we don't want to get ill. We've got to think about ourselves, guys. And understand as well that on this channel, I am never trying to tell anyone how to suck eggs. You know, I'm just there to put my information out there, what I know, because I get a lot of my information not just from paid classes and courses and what have you know, I get it from other YouTube channels and, you know, other professionals in the trade. It's no good trying to block something up, you know, in the hope that it never gets out to other people that want to learn, because there is a lot of people in the trade that don't want to teach, don't want to give, you know, what they class as valuable information out. You know, they're thinking that that's why that certain market type's getting, let's say, oversaturated, because maybe someone's out there giving that information away. It's not that at all. You're always going to have that person that won't watch a YouTube channel but might have their carpet cleaned and think, I can do that, you know. I could get a Vax or a Bexbissel or another kind of domestic carpet cleaning contraption, you know, and start doing it part-time for family and then friends, and then think, you know, this is good enough to start charging strangers, the general public. I'm highly against it, guys. So if you are one of them people watching this channel now and you are going out doing that sort of stuff, I don't agree with it. I'm going to put it out there, you know. Keep it to your own homes, you know. If your family are happy with that, you know, keep it to there. But not having insurance in place, not having the correct procedures under your belt, not having the knowledge and winging it, let's say, is definitely not what is supposed to be done. You know, the cleaning trade, it deserves more respect. I've learned that over the past 16 years. You know, the past 16 years, I say that because I was part-time carpet cleaning alongside the installation business, the supplying and installing, for many years. And then, you know, there was a time when I decided that, you know, I'm going to put this not as a bolt-on, but as a very important part of my business, because the installation and maintenance is what I wanted to deliver. So, you know, I'm always fully understanding of anyone that thinks you're giving stuff away for free. But it's only because I understand that you're not. Most of the people that are interested in your channel, is going to be because they're in the same game 9 times out of 10. I know I've said this before probably, but it's so true. They're going to be in the same trade. It's just short 1-minute clips that you see on TikTok and things. I do them myself for the average kind of person at home scrolling that likes to see soil extraction. So I do different videos, you know. The reason, you know, I'm cleaning cleanish carpets here today, and most people that want to see that kind of high level soil extraction, whether it be through a pad or an HWE machine or a rinse extraction machine, you know, it's not for everyone. This isn't one of them, what do you call it? What do you call it when, I'm looking for the word now, oh, it's totally gone. Someone, if you know what I'm on about, when it's that thing that's addictive to watch, is it AMSR or something like that? I'm not sure. But yeah, pop it down in the box if you do. That's what I'm on about. A lot of people like to watch things like that for that reason. This carpet's coming up beautifully, guys. I can comfortably say that it definitely was soiling. The browning was soiling. The product that I'm using has basically blasted it out. It's just ready afterwards for extraction through a pad. I might use the Iron Man pad, or I might even use a Zebra pad with a little bit more agitation while we're cleaning, because what a lot of people don't understand is the Zebra pad, it's exorbitant. It's a great pad. It's not only an agitation form of pad, it absorbs soil in, so you can do the two at the same time. They clean really, really well. I think they're made of polyester. You know, you've got the Iron Man pads that are made of cotton, if I do believe. I've got wool pads as well. And the wool pads, I would say, the 100% wool pads that I use are the most aggressive form. Very aggressive. Not to the point where they're going to damage fibres, but obviously they absorb an awful lot of soil in. Cotton also absorbs a lot of soil in. The more synthetic kind of microfiber bonnets, I'm not a fan of. You might get on with them, great, and if you do, great. I personally don't. I only ever brought, though, one batch, and microfiber is designed to continuously keep on soaking up moisture, but for some reason I just found that cotton or wool on either synthetic or man-made natural fibers like wool just worked better. You know, they truly did work better and remove more. So I don't personally use microfiber pads. They're not my kind of pad, but you guys might, and you might think that they're brilliant. And if you can educate me on them, that'd be good. You know, drop a comment in the box again. I'd like to see more people talking about their methods, more people saying what they do. You know, I'm trying to get momentum going on this channel, because people tend to be watching and not sharing, not liking and not subscribing. And I do want your subscription and your likes and your comments, because I want to grow the channel, as I said before. It's a different video entirely today, guys. Some people will hate this style of video. All they want to do is see the results. We do them all day long, every day. Thousands of views. Lucky enough where they have had. And they're great, and they serve a purpose. But this type of video also serves a purpose. and I'm always there to share it, you know, share the knowledge. A community, that's what carpet cleaning is, that's what fitting is. It's a community. Having respect for a fellow worker who does the same as you do. You know, I'm that kind of guy that I don't like being disrespectful, no matter what it is. Sure, sometimes you can know outwardly that someone's not doing something correctly. But I've learnt over the years to be kind, considerate, and to treat others how I want to be treated, how I'd like to be treated, should I say, you know, just with kindness, you know. And if we can make some good friends along the way, which I have, you know, several very good friends in the industry nowadays that I speak to on a weekly basis, I'm thankful for. Wow, guys, wow, that's looking different. Okay, so we're just going to go into the hall and do that, and then we'll look at what the CRB got that the vacuum couldn't get. Shut the door. Don't really want the pre-spray to dry out. Not that fast anyway, not when we're trying to treat an odour. I want it to last. A lot of people, customer-wise mainly, do ask about the durability of our carpet repairs. And I always try and explain it to them that it will be good for the life of the carpet down on the floor. So you can see I'm going over with a CRB now, all the way up. And it's held up absolutely perfect, as I know it obviously would. You know, it's going to be there for everyday kind of use, vacuuming and what have you. So what I did on that particular repair, as it probably will be done in high speed, just because it's lengthy, and this video is going to be lengthy anyway. Well, and because I teach it as a course, and I think it's important to come and get it first hand, you know. So if you're interested in carpet repair, I only work for, or should I say supply my services for, one supplier these days, and that is Restore Me, which are based in Newcastle upon Tyne, that kind of way, purely because I have done for a couple of years now. I have worked for other suppliers, but time, distance and everything else coming into play kind of sealed it, you know, where that's what I'd do. We do one-on-ones, we do group sessions personally. I do like to try and keep it as much to Restore Me as possible when it comes to group sessions though, because, you know, we've worked well together over the past couple of years, and it's no good me taking all the business out, doing it myself. So I do like to keep as much as possible with them, but one-on-one and small groups and things like that is definitely something I do. So if you want to get in touch, send us a message. I can show you the ropes. It's then up to you to perfect your art. Okie dokie. Right, let's have a look in the old CRB to see what we've collected. Not too much this time. Not too much. Does that say that I'm not vacuuming deep enough all the other times? No, it doesn't. By the time we go upstairs and everything, we'll have the same amount. So, fantastic. Right, let's get the rotary in. All right then, so I've basically just dampened the Ironman pad. That's what I've decided to go with. So let's lay the machine on top. There we go. We're not running any solution in the tank at all. I've just, like I say, just dampened the pad slightly. The pre-spray's down. That will do the job for us today. Gliding lovely. The key with rotary cleaning is making sure that you've got it set up correctly. You shouldn't be dragging your machine across fibres, especially when it comes to synthetic fibres, because if it's hard, you got resistance there, it means your pad's too dry or the floor's too dry, and that's resulting in friction, which will result in burning the carpet. You know, there is a thing in the industry that say 150 RPM machine is the way forward. And I would say, to be fair, for newbies, a 150 is great. You know, if you want that little bit more RPM, when you get a little bit more experienced on, you know, how things should work, then this is a 230 British manufacturer. I've always used the Victa. It's a great machine. It does a great job. I know the machine's inside and out. Like I say, they've got two capacitors. It's dual capacitor. The 230 does a great job. A little bit more kick than the 150. I've seen guys cleaning carpets at 300 RPM. You know, you can get your dual speed machines that have high and low, and I've seen experienced technicians use them literally on high 300 RPM. Now, they're experienced, so that is what you've got to look at. They know to keep a pad moist. It can even happen though, if the truth be known, depending on what you're cleaning. There has been times when I've heard of people scorching carpets, you know, at high RPM, when they think they've got it set up correctly, and then they wonder why. There's a shelf to everything, isn't there? You know, more passes per minute, I guess, would work as it's a deeper form of cleaning, I suppose. More passes per minute and all that. But personally, I'd rather go on a slightly slower and do more passes. You know, just take the machine over there more. It's not about time with me. It never has been. I'm not time orientated when it comes to business. I'm repeat orientated. I want my customers to use me down the line. That's why you're seeing the vacuuming today, the extensive vacuuming that will get you, you know, a lot of recommendation. It's almost like a premium service. You're offering all the steps to your customers and not cutting corners because financially you think you can get to another job, you know, and earn more money that particular day. Because what you got to think is longevity. You do a cracking job for that customer and show them the extra that you're going to that maybe these other companies are skipping, you know, and they'll have you back. Trust me, they will have you back. If they understand what you've done, don't think, oh, they don't want to listen to it, it's all a bit technical, or I don't want to divulge in it. I'm not asking you to give them a PhD degree. or anything else. I'm just literally saying, explain to that particular customer, you know, what you've gone through to get them results that they've got today. And they will spread your name far and wide, and they will definitely have your back. I've also found over the years that no one wants a grumpy so-and-so in the home. So if you're not a talkative person and it doesn't come to you naturally, you know, try your best is what I would say. And I fully understand that there is people, you know, that don't talk great. You know, they're not chatty people, but they're detailed people still, and they'll do a fantastic job. I think sometimes we just have to remember that when a customer's got a stranger or someone new in their home, you know, they do like a smile and maybe a little bit of a conversation. And if that has to come through a way of what you're doing and explaining the process, then so be it. It's giving you connection with that customer. You know, they've had a pleasant experience. They'll share your name. They're definitely going to have your back. That kind of thing. That's all I'm trying to do here, guys. Things that I've picked up over the years. I've done countless surveys with my customers over the years. Countless on what they would like. And some guys in the industry don't like to hear it, you know, because I'm very open. That's what we do on this channel. We spread the truth. I'm very open, and I've said all the way along, I've surveyed my customers, and I've said, what do you prefer? Doors open or doors closed? It's definitely doors closed. Then you've got to think about your machinery. You know, it might be quite loud. Would you prefer it outside and the door open ajar rather than the noise? Ask your customers what they would prefer. I've found along the way that 9 times out of 10, doors closed is the one. I know a lot of people use sealer doors and things like that. And again, you know, that's great, guys. You're making the effort, aren't you? You're professional. You're making them professional differences. Hold it up to the light. You can see the soiling on that side. So if I turn it over, oh, you beauty. That side needs going down. Here at Sharp Solutions, we use both sides. Some people don't. I watched a video actually with a seasoned professional in the trade, and shout out goes out to Robin from Oxydry over there in Canada. I love watching his stuff as well as others. I always spread the love. And yeah, if you're low moisture, you know, that guy, he knows his stuff. So he's been doing it many years, definitely worth a watch. And he was saying the other day in one of his videos that I watched, when shower feeding, people have got this mentality that you're pushing the soiling through the pad back into the floor, and it doesn't work like that. You know, he is the guy that literally set up the term SET, S-E-T-T, soil extraction transfer technology. I love it, you know. That's how things come about when people have passion for their industry, you know. And when they've got passion, they invent things, and that's how the machines, the solutions, the education, everything comes about through that. I mean, look at that, guys. That is incredible. That is incredible. And wow, I kid you not, that'll be dry in half an hour. Soil removed. All stages have been performed. There is hardly, if anything, left in these carpetings when it comes to the way of soiling. All done without high heat. All done without excessive PSI. Sure, you could come in with high heat and high PSI and we could jet wash these carpets. But that's the difference between an amateur and a professional. Because a professional will always try and take care of the carpet and not just remove the soiling. Just removing the soiling and thinking that's what your customer wants is not correct. What your customer wants is the soiling removed, but the carpet's left in best condition. There's ways and methods. Right, wow, that's the agitation with the CRB done upstairs as well. So I'm at the point where I'm now going to obviously chuck a pad on, and we're going to use a rotary to dry the carpet and clean the carpet, you know, taking the soiling off the top of the pile. Just quickly, I wanted to touch on something. Now, this is a spin brush. This is the Victor spin brush. Not shampoo brush. The bristles aren't superly hard. I've been trialing this week because a friend of mine had the shampoo brush, which has got a blue stripe going round, more for like commercial carpeting, but a bit aggressive, let's say, for your domestic carpeting is what I found. This brush, however, is super soft, and all this week I've been trialing it, and I can say it is an absolute fantastic bit of kit for agitation, you know, to release that soiling and get it to the top of the pile, you know. And let's say it's a little bit lighter on things that you have to take in, but you've got to bear in mind, guys, it is a necessity to have a CRB. The difference between this CRB and that spin brush is a million miles away. Okay, the spin brush at no point has collected large amounts of debris. It's got particles of soiling on the brushes, but it's just not designed to do what the CRB does. The CRB, it's counter rotating, so as it's brushing the pile, it's brushing it up, okay, and out of the pile. This was never designed to collect. This was designed to agitate. So that's the difference. I mean, guys, come on. Look at the front. I give my CRB a clean out after every job. A thorough clean out and an antibacterial as well. Not after every job, after every day. I dip the brushes. It's just a quick release on the side. Dip the brushes, shake them off, and get them back in. Get them dry and get them back in. It's just literally, if you do it on a daily basis after work, I give my van in the back a wipe down every day after work. The machine, a wipe down. The CRB, a wipe down. I am a daily person. Some people like to do it weekly. That's up to you. That's your prerogative. You do what you need to do. But guys, these two, they're different. I've not opened it yet, so I don't know what's going to be in there. Okay, there's not a great deal because we obviously have taken a lot out now, but along with what was downstairs would be a good handful. That brush is never going to collect what a CRB collects. So yes, there is one that is superior than the other. The spin brushes are great for agitation. They're great for knocking out spots, even stains at times, knocking the stain off the fibre, but they're never going to collect the debris. A vacuum and a CRB are. So that's the difference between a spin brush and a CRB, and why a CRB is definitely a tool that is needed for every carpet cleaner, in my opinion. Right guys, we're up to the bedrooms. Last stage, it's been CRB'd. So yeah, we're just going to clean them. Take the soiling off the top of the pile with the rotary. And today is so much better here in the UK, guys, weather-wise. I love the heat. I absolutely love it. I work in it. People say, how you doing with the heat? I'm like, I'm fine. As long as I've got enough fluids, water, that kind of stuff, on occasions, pop, I'm fine. You know, I love the heat. I like the heat. It's good for us. The sun's brilliant. I'm not going to go into it too much. But guys, if you're not from the UK, you can't feel our pain over the last few days. It has been like something. We're not cut out for the humidity levels that we've had. So that is complete dry heat in the high 30s. Or mid 30s, but with complete humidity being that high, there is no breeze at all. Today is just a breath of fresh air. Look, we've got wind back, guys. The trees are moving a little bit. We've got a breeze. It's lovely. We've got that heat, but we've got a breeze as well. Honestly, I woke up yesterday morning. I said to me, Missus, after looking at myself in the mirror, can you notice anything different about me this morning? And she said, no, why? I said, I am almost positive I've tanned overnight. It was that hot, guys, in my bed. Honestly, it was so uncomfortable. Ridiculous. I'm glad it's back to what it is now. But one thing I will say, it has made me think about getting air conditioning. Are we at that point in the UK? You know, I mean, a week of it, okay. But if things are changing, because it seems to be this way now, a few summers in fact, it's been the same, you know. I thought, is it because I'm getting older? You know, can I not take the heat as much now? But it's not that. I love the heat. It's the humidity. The humidity and that dry heat together, that makes for uncomfortable people here in the UK that aren't used to it. So today is a welcome break. It is so nice. So again, I just dampen this pad, same as before. It's not wet, it's just damp. In fact, just to help the dry time, downstairs lounge, study and dining room are now dry. I've just done the stairs. Normally I do work my way out there, but just the way it was today, I sprayed the stairs and I thought, do you know what? I'll do these stairs now. It's going to be groomed all out afterwards. So it's not a problem. But I'm happy in every area. They have really come up well. Not so much, like I say, not to bang on about it, but this job was never so much about soiling levels. There was a bit of soil in that. I'm still not 100% if it could have been even. Maybe someone had tried to self-clean it, like I say, and retailers, not all retailers, but I've heard my customers say a lot of the times, even when messages are sent, that their retailer had said this carpet's cleanable with bleach, you know, bleach. That to a customer says, go and grab your bleach and just squirt it on your carpet and brush it in. That's what it says, you know. They will not try and read between the lines of, well, is it domestic bleach? Is it controlled bleachers? What is it? It's domestos to them. So in cases like this one, I'm kind of thinking, could it be bleached, you know? I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, solution dyed carpets at 6-month-old should not really take on any kind of colour stripping unless it was literally neat, you know. And even then, you would find it difficult. They're just made differently. I also think I got more dry particulate soiling out these carpets than I actually did downstairs. And that will be because your average person won't vacuum their bedrooms half as much as they will their ever used areas like lounges and stairs and landings and things, you know. So it's drying out that fast. I can just feel it starting to bite on the pad, which means I'll turn the pad to the other side. It's going to have a little bit more moisture on, I'm not expecting it to be soiled, to be fair. That's not bad at all. It'll help if I chuck it down. There we go. On the right side. This video is obviously going to take much longer as well to upload, you know. It's almost going to be a movie. Yep. Very happy with how it's turned out so far. And we're almost done. We're almost at the finish line, let's say. Always get behind the doors, no matter what. And work my way out of the room.